What's going on, everybody? The Truth Hurts. Ready to drop another vid. There's a viral video called Wake Up America featuring George Carlin going on a diatribe about the state of America. The fact that it's going viral leads me to believe a lot of Americans are still asleep. We're in the information age, so I'm really surprised people are still groping around in the dark. Remember the scene in The Matrix when Morpheus told Neo, "You are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, into a prison that you cannot taste or see or touch. A prison for your mind." You gotta learn how to watch movies. Movies are for entertainment, but there is always pertinent information to be gleaned if you're not just eating popcorn and mindlessly enjoying the movie. We are slaves. We are in an invisible jail. Like Lawrence Fishburne said in the movie, it's all around us. You know it. Just look at politics. We have a constitution that our servicemen and women fight for abroad that means absolutely nothing here at home. You better serve with your local government, but the federal government is not ran by the people, and it's certainly not for the people. Wake the hell up. Put your racism and your bias to the side and look at what's going on. Our political system is a sideshow, a multi-billion-dollar train wreck. With all due respect, this didn't start with Trump, Barack Obama, or George Jr. 4 sitting presidents have been assassinated in this country. William McKinley, James A. Garfield, Abraham Lincoln, and John F. Kennedy. None of these assassinations were a lone wolf dissenter hack job. They were all orchestrated, planned hits. I won't get into that here, but just do a little research. Politicians don't run politics. Big pharma, billion-dollar corporations, and the wealthiest families run politics. You honestly believe they will allow the election of the most powerful man, in theory, and leave that up to us? The elite have been running our government since at least 1913, when then President Woodrow Wilson, a known racist, signed the Federal Reserve Act. Despite early attempts in the U.S. to form a central bank, which is a privately owned for-profit institution, it's not government, through Alexander Hamilton, the U.S. repeatedly shot it down. Everyone knew a central bank like the Federal Reserve would eventually ruin the government. 8 different presidents opposed a central bank. Andrew Jackson probably was the most outspoken. See, they knew money would bring this country to ruin. Ulysses S. Grant, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, John F. Kennedy, Eisenhower, among others. But you know what's funny? The Federal Reserve issued bills with George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and Ulysses S. Grant as a slap in the face, I guess. Today's politicians are a collection of caricatures, buffoons, designed to entertain and keep us busy. They are not there to govern. Then there's religion. What we call religion today, Islam, Christianity being the big two, has nothing to do with the God of the Bible. All religions are man-made and designed to subdue your spirit and lead you down the same beaten path the fictitious religions of the past did. From Babylon to Egypt to Rome, those religions have the same ingredients: a mother god, a father god, and their offspring. It's actually a clever ruse with no basis in biblical accuracy nor integrity. You place your faith in these charlatans parading around as priests, pastors, and imams. How many of you have actually read the Bible to get your own understanding? Most of us sit in the pews on Sunday and let pastor tell us what the scriptures mean, and think that is dedication to the Most High. Why then don't they explain to you that Sunday is not the Sabbath? Why do you think it's okay to celebrate pagan holidays? Who told you the Trinity or Godhead dogma was biblical? Have you done any research? You don't think it's important? Do you believe the Ten Commandments are important? What is the fourth commandment? Does it not say to remember the Sabbath day and to keep it holy? Why do Christians believe of all the commandments, this one is no longer valid? As if the Most High changed his mind. It's in the Ten Commandments. Yahshua was the physical example of the Most High, but is not the Most High. The divine spirit, the gift from the Most High, is not the Most High. Where does Christmas and Easter get their roots? If you don't know, find out. But if you do know, that's even worse. These religions have been corrupted for a long time. I could do an entire video on that alone, but I won't. I want to talk about one of my pet peeves. My favorite whipping boy. Science. Trust me, people tell me all the time that I'm a fool. They say this because I question everything. Science says we're the result of a Big Bang. Science says we're traveling through space right now at 67,000 miles per hour while spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. Science says we evolved from primordial sludge. And science can't cure a common cold down here on Earth that's been around as long as history has been around. We can't get back to the moon. Do you know why? NASA says they lost the technology. I'm not joking. Their explanation is they lost the technology. I understand misplacing car keys. I get that. But I can't fathom losing the technology to get to the moon. Who was responsible for it? Where is he or she working now? Probably in politics. I believe technology has advanced so much they're no longer able to fake it. But that's just me. Remember the Federal Reserve we were talking about a minute ago? Be honest. By a show of hands, how many of you thought our government ran it? Since I'll only have 1 or 2 viewers, I'll assume at least 1 or 2 hands went up. The Federal Reserve is a privately owned money monopoly who has been given the power to create money. You want to talk about a scam? Do you know what fractional reserve banking is? Fractional reserve banking involves banks accepting deposits from you and I and being able to make loans on those deposits with just a fraction of the loan money actually on hand. In other words, it's legal theft. It's like being able to loan $10 to 10 different people. The same $10. The bank can turn your $10 into $100 with fractional reserve banking. So a 7% interest rate is really a 70% interest rate. Oh, it gets deeper. Much deeper. But I don't have the time or command of my emotions to dig that deep. Not today. Just know, it's why banks have the biggest buildings in the city. Insurance companies are a close second, if they haven't moved in the first place yet. We pay them money every month for things that may or may not happen. Do you know how much money our money gives insurance companies access to? Trillions of dollars. I didn't say billions, I said trillions of dollars. If you can establish with a bank that you run a gimmick that has at least 1 billion people giving you at least $50 a month, the bank will be your bitch. The insurance companies are the shit. The biggest scam ever. Paper money is called fiat for a reason. Fiat is a formal authorization or proposition, a decree. That's the definition of fiat. In layman's terms, it means money has value because they say it does. It's backed by nothing more than your belief. Think of it like this. There was a time when we actually traded value for value. It's called the barter system. If I gave you a diamond, you had to give me something of equal value. First of all, paper is not equal value. Secondly, diamonds aren't worth nearly the value we've been fooled into thinking they are. Yeah, they're rare if you don't count the warehouses full in Switzerland. So, you see, we're getting screwed coming and going. Outside of religion, nothing captures the imagination like Hollywood, the media, and entertainment. Orson Welles' The War of the Worlds is infamous. For those who may not know, The War of the World was a 1938 radio broadcast depicting aliens landing and taking over the world. It caused a panic among the many Americans who had radios. People were packing their cars, running through the streets. One mayor in the Midwest claimed there were mobs of panicked citizens mauling City Hall. The point is, TV and radio, with its predictive programming, has formed the opinion of people since their advent. If you don't believe TV and radio is a psyop ran by TV stations, Hollywood directors, and your government, you're just not paying attention. TV and radio forms your opinion on your children and how to raise them, on fashion, race relations, beauty, your moral compass, your diet, all the way down to your role as a man or woman. That's powerful. And the multi-billion-dollar entertainment industry is really locking down your reality. From the late 15th century, the word entre or enter meant to hold together or maintain, and meant is someone's frame of mind. So entertainment was to enter or keep someone in a certain frame of mind. You didn't ask for acid rock or gangster rap. It wasn't your idea to make slasher movies or have men put on dresses. We didn't make Tupac, Biggie, or Elvis, or the Beatles. They were marketed to us or forced on us. Music and movies set precedents, change moods, and create lifestyles. This all happens to you while you're in your most unaware, susceptible state of mind. That minute blinking of the television actually hypnotizes you. It's called the flicker-induced hypnotic state. Your mind actually slips into this hypnotic trance within a few minutes of watching. Your mind, your subconscious mind, becomes highly suggestive to whatever information you receive, and eventually becomes a part of your memory pool. Prior to 1953, there was no agreed standard to music tone. In 1953, a worldwide agreement was signed declaring that the middle A on the piano be forevermore tuned to exactly 440 hertz. This frequency became the standard. The standard notes are for all musical instruments and based on the chromatic scale. The chromatic scale is the one most often used in music, especially in the West. All other notes are tuned in standard mathematical ratios leading to and from 440 hertz. Some adherents claim the natural frequency for middle A is 438 hertz, while others believe 432, also known as Verdi's perfect A. They say it is more natural because it is more fundamental to nature, vibrating with phi, or the golden ratio. Some have called 440 hertz an abomination, claiming it affects mental health and the overall complexity of our body chemistry. I don't know about all that. I just felt it to be relevant to the musicians who may not have known that. What I do know is music in no small way can be responsible for an entire culture shift and should be respected for the damage it can do. The reality is we all know there's something wrong. We all know that something is innate, almost invisible, but very palpable. It starts very early in grade school and doesn't end until we check out. We know politics, religion, science, finance, and entertainment are all poison. We know that. And mental poison affects the body just as bad as orally ingested poison, if not more so. If you poison the mind, you don't have to poison the body. We will do that ourselves. Our food is even poison. The water we drink, with the fluorides and other chemicals, are poison. It's very difficult to escape. But trust me, knowing is only half the battle. Peace.